CQ, 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 calling CQ. CQ, the old friend's net. This is WA4LLR. Dave in Burnsville, North Carolina, calling CQ with flea power. So crank up your RF gain, fellas. CQ, 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 the old friend's net. This net meets 3 times weekly. Sunday afternoons or evenings at 6:30. Tuesday mornings at 9 o'clock, Thursday mornings at 9 o'clock on this frequency. The net's carried out in the amplitude modulation mode and in the old-fashioned round table format. Any station that can generate an AM signal is welcome to participate. So I will take a list. I may need some help because of the power level, but we'll make a list and see who we can get a hold of. So stations wishing to check in, give me a call and come now.
WB4ARK for Foxtrot Juliet, Quebec.
And 4LQ.
KG4IUQ. WF2U.
KN4.
W4KR.
November 4.
WB4NKL.
N4AK.
K1PVC.
WN4 PFI.
KJ4YEV.
KF4XC.
Alrighty, let me give you what I have. WB4ARK, WA4FJQ, I believe it was, N4LQ, KG4IUQ, let's see, WF2U, KN4R, W4KR, N4AK, WB4NKL, K1VVC, WN4PFI, KJ4YEV, and I believe it was KF4 X-Ray Charlie. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Any other stations or any corrections?
K4 VWD.
WA4LLR. Yes, KF4XC is Joe up in Franklin, and he's going to check in with us. So I would invite everybody to introduce yourselves to him as you go down the net. Thank you very much. WA4LLR and 4AK.
Okay, Glenn, thank you for that. Good, welcome to you, Joe. Lee, I have you. K4VWD. Do we have any others?
This is November 4 Whiskey Delta.
W4JPL.
Okay, good evening to you, Bruce. Good evening to you, John. N4WD, W4JPL. Any more? Okay, good group this afternoon. Let me run over the suffixes once more. ARK, FJQ, LQ, IUQ, 2U, 4R, KR, AK, NKL, VVC, PFI, YEV, XC, VWD, WD, JPL. Any others? Alrighty, well, good afternoon to everybody. Sorry again about the weak signal, but that's the best I can do at the moment. Beautiful Sunday afternoon up here in the eastern part of Yancey County. As I said, the name's Dave. I'm near Burnsville, North Carolina. We've got about 72 degrees and mostly sunny. In fact, the sun's just now dropping behind the ridge to our west. Still continuing to recover from the hip replacement. I go back Wednesday to see the surgeon and have the the staples removed and see how things are going. So I'm looking forward to that. So that being said, we will get this show on the road. WB4ARK, buddy, take it away. WA4LLR.
WA4LLR, WB4ARK. Okay, Dave. Yeah, you've got a very readable signal, and the band is very quiet today, so no problems with copying anybody. And the name here is Buddy. I'm running an ART-13. It belongs to Charlie. W4 is very quiet. I'll leave that alone. The unit has been under my care for some time now, and I've been restoring it to a workable condition. And it's feeding a horizontal dipole up about 60 feet. And I'm receiving on a R390A. And I'll tell you who it belongs to. It belongs to Charlie, W4MEC. And so he will take possession of it, I presume, on Thursday. I think he will be at the luncheon. So we will turn this over to WB4FJQ. This is WB4ARK.
WB4ARK, this is WA4FJQ. Tom in High Point, running a AF-68 rather, and receiving on a Collins 75 S3C here in High Point. Dave, I can copy you okay. I can make it out, but you're not very strong, buddy. You about 20 over here in High Point. But I got a lot of QR Mary on the radio here. It's something in the shack, because when I switch out to a more remote antenna away from the shack, it's quiet. So I don't know how long I'll be able to hang in here. I did copy most of the check-ins, but we'll see how it goes. Obviously something in the shack probably. Okay, let me turn it over to Steve, N4LQ. This is WA4FJQ.
WA4FJQ and the old friend's net. It's N4LQ. Name is Steve, and QTH is Shelby, North Carolina, the city of pleasant living, of course. We're running Elmac AF-68, driving an AL-1200 amplifier to about 375 watts, and the antenna is a 80-meter three-sided horizontal loop at 100 feet, and I'm feeding it with 600 ohm homebrew ladder line. So that is the story here, and welcome to Joe XC, and it's also good to hear John, JPL, a few of the others that haven't been on for a while. And so I'll turn it over to Mark. Good to hear you too. Hadn't heard you for a couple of weeks. KG4IUQ, N4LQ.
Thank you very much, Steve. This is KG4IUQ, Mark in Shelby. I'm on my multi-Elmac AF-68. I'm using the PMR8 receiver. Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks. I tend to be kind of busy, and it's really tough to do everything. It's impossible. But it's good to be here. Everybody's sounding good. Dave, LLR, I hear every word you say. You're saying that you're on a lower power today, and hope things go well with your hip replacement. And Buddy, you're sounding good on your ART-13. Tom, you're sounding good, and Steve, you're sounding good too. I'm going to turn it over to WF2U. This is KG4IUQ.
Roger, KG4IOQ. And the net, this is WFTU. Good afternoon, everybody. Conditions are not bad at all. Very low noise level here. Copying everybody pretty well. Reports to everybody are coming first to the ones before me in the rotation, and then the next round the rest of the group is going to get the reports. Good Joe KF4XC that you joined us. So let me introduce myself. The name is Meir Mike Echo India Romeo. I'm located near the town of Landrum in South Carolina, out in Greenville County, and running about the early to mid 80s equipment, old Yaesu that I resurrected from a supposedly not working estate. Stack of equipment that I got just to play with, and so receiving on the Yaesu FR101 Delta, which means digital frequency readout. The transmitter is the FL101. It's a hybrid, and that goes into the FL2100 Bravo linear amplifier. So on AM I'm getting peak output of a little bit over 300 watts. The antenna is end fed halfway for 80 meters, about 40 feet high. So the temperature here is 75 degrees at the moment. And Dave, yeah, good to hear that you're improving and you're getting all destapled or whatever. That's a good way to recovery, and hopefully pretty soon you'll be able to run and dance as if nothing happened. So with that, let's go to the report. So Dave, you are 10 to 15 over 9, a little QSB. Buddy, you are 20, a little bit 20 plus sometimes. The ART-13 sounds good. By the way, it's the one that Charlie got from me, and I was kind of swindled a little bit into it because it's from somebody that I used to talk to on the old military radio net while I was still up at 5 o'clock in the not so distant past, that I was free to go and get on the air Saturday mornings very early. And he told me that ART-13 he used on the net, and I know that it was one of several that he had, and I just wanted another spare one on top of mine, which is working fine, just it's not hooked up right now. And turns out that a few things were missing from it. And I was surprised because I wouldn't give something knowingly as a complete working radio, especially not to somebody I know, even if it was only on the air. So that's the story with that ART-13. So the next report goes to Tom, 5.9 plus 10, a little bit over 10 with QSB. Steve, you are 20 over 9. Mark, 5-9 plus 10 to 15. And as I said, the rest of the reports are coming in the next round. So with that, it goes to Brian. KN4R and the net. This is WF2U.
Yeah, okay, Mayor. Very good. WF2U in the group. This is KN4R. Brian in Sherrills Ford, North Carolina, over toward Denver and Mooresville. Everybody's just breaking your speaker here. Dave, thanks for running that, and also glad you're still on the mend and keep it up. So I'm in a late 1960s rig of a KOC 164, also known as an OF3 from OF Communications, which Harris. And I'm going to come back. I've got a KOC 9 set up outside. About 8 minutes on AM, so hopefully somebody anyway, I was used to it. W4KO in the group. KN4R.
Okay, Brian, good afternoon. KN4R, the old friends group, W4KR. Brian, it sounds like maybe you've got a modulator tube that's taken off a little bit. Wait a minute here. There we go. Go manual on the, don't have to hold this, hold the D104 so tight. Anyway, good afternoon, everybody. Joe, again, welcome to you. As I said earlier, Joe, my name is Stan, and I'm located northwest of Walhalla, about halfway between Walhalla and Mountain Rest, over on the South Carolina side. Running a Viking 2 this afternoon, putting out about 100 watts, and the antenna's a dipole. It's 100 feet up, coax-fed dipole, and the receiver is a Collins 75 A2. Got the A2 on this afternoon. Had an opportunity this week to. We were up in Michigan for the week. Joan had some medical work done up at Ann Arbor, and we left up there Friday morning and came down about halfway down to London, Kentucky, and stayed over, and then came home yesterday. Came the rest of the way yesterday, down through Great Smoky Mountain National Park. A fair amount of traffic in the park, but it was moving along pretty good. On the way down, or on the way back, I should say, which was Friday morning about midday, I stopped at Fair Radio in Lima, Ohio, and as we know, they're going out of business, or planning on going out of business right near the end of the year. Talked to Phil Sly, the owner, and they may keep going until Dayton time. He's not really sure. But I did some rummaging and came home with a find, and I won't bring it this month, but next month I'll bring it along for the November meeting. I'll bring it along. It's the original HRO. It's an HRO, not an M, not a 5 or a 4, just a plain original HRO circa 1935. It's in pretty good shape, surprisingly good condition actually, and I have to replace a couple of tubes in it, but otherwise it's okay. Also, the came with a full set of coils for 160 all the way to 10 meters. And the doghouse power supply. So I came and the price was fair. They're in a mode up there to move stuff out the door, so they'll talk. Let's see, what else? What else do I know? I think that's about it for this time around. Copying everybody, Dave, to you. God bless that you're coming along, and your signal's good. You're between 5 and 10 over 9 down here this afternoon, so you're doing well. Okay, over to my neighbor here. N4AK and the Old Friends Group. This is W4KR Walhalla.
Okay, Stan. W4KR Walhalla. And congratulations on the HRO, the find. And a super welcome to Joe, KF4XC. Of course, this is Glenn. I'm over here at Sunset across from the post office. And we certainly welcome you to the net. I'm running a Johnson Viking 500, probably about 350 watts. I'm running a end-fed antenna, 80 through 10, receiving on a National NC 183 Delta. So that's the rundown on the rig. 77 degrees over here at Sunset today, sunny. So, over to you, Cliff, WB4NKL and 4AK.
N4AK, it's WB4NKL. Okay, good copy on everybody. Band's in great shape. And good afternoon to Joe. Welcome to the net. Name here is Cliff, and I'm located in Limestone, Tennessee, which is up in the east end of the state, around Greenville, Johnson City, Kingsport area. And running the Globe King 500 with into a 160 meter dipole fed with ladder line, or 600 ohm ladder line. And all right, on the fire radio trip, Stan, that's a trip, a stop I've never made. I guess I'm going to have to do it quickly if it's going to happen. So sounds like it's not long to be around, so need to check them out, I guess. I'll send it on around. Good group in here today. Go ahead, John. K1 VVC, WB4NKL.
Yeah, very good. Thanks, Cliff. Good to hear you. And you're right. Everybody's got a great signal here, except Brian his audio's quite distorted. I really couldn't understand too much of it. And yeah, Joe, happy to meet you on here today. My name's John. I'm in Greer, South Carolina, and I'm also running a Johnson Viking 500 at about 350 watts out, and listing on a National HRO 60. The antenna is a inverted V. And Stan, on the HRO you got, the best way to quickly date the age, if it's an early one, the IF transformers will be round. If it's later 30s vintage into the 40s, the IF transformers are rectangular. So it's the quickest way to give you a general idea on the age of the HRO. Other than that, everything else is going fine here. And I've been off a couple of weeks. And Dave, really happy to hear that you're relieving the burden on Irvina. Must have been tough on her. I know you can be difficult. Just kidding. But I'm really glad to hear you doing well, and they're going to disassemble you again soon. Over to Doak, WN4PFI. And also Thursday, of course, is the lunch. And Lee, not to worry, I'll be by regular time. WN4PFI, K1VVC.
Okay, John. Let me change my meter here. K1VVC, this is WN4PFI. Welcome to Joe up in Franklin. My name is Doak, and I'll spell it Delta Oscar Alpha Kilo. Most folks will want to spell it D-O-K-E, but it's not spelled that way, so I'll let you know how it is right off the get-go. Transmitter is a DX60, running it into a Warrior amplifier, and voice picks are about 300 watts. And the receiver is a Drake 2A. Antenna is a dipole at about 40 feet. And located in Setches, Georgia. That's in Union County, and Franklin's not that far from us. You come down 74 You may have been here. I've been to Franklin many times. I worked there for 5 years at a little sewing plant. I was the engineer there, right off of 441, right before it blends in with 74 at the top of the hill. Over on the right, I think that's a beer distributing facility now, but it used to be a little sewing facility. I worked there and worked at a plant down in Commerce, Georgia, and lived in Toccoa, Georgia at the time. So I'm very familiar with Franklin, and so welcome to the net. And with that, let's pass it on over to Al, KJ4YEV. This is WN4 PFI.
Thank you, Dope. WN4 PFI. This is KJ4YEV. Everybody's sounding real good today. Conditions are really good. Dave, I'm hearing you just fine on your flea power, and I'm happy to hear that you're healing up from your surgery. Glad to hear that. Of course, I'm running flea power too. This is a DX60 with no amplifier, just running it barefoot, so I hope y'all can hear me okay. Nice to hear Joe, KF4XC on here. I don't believe I've ever worked him before, so warm welcome to Joe. So I'll pass it on to you, Joe, KF4XC, KJ4YEV.
KJ4YED, good evening from KF4XC. Well, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for the nice welcome. I've been licensed since early 80. I can't remember exactly when. I retired out of the state of Florida in 1997 and moved up here shortly thereafter. And was real busy for a number of years. It was just vacant land, and so I was off the air till 2019, and my wife says, "Oh, you're getting so old, you need to find an easier hobby." So I got back into amateur radio and love it. It was always a pleasure. And everybody's got a good signal tonight. Just glad to be here. I was able to copy everybody's call sign as W4LLR called them down. When I got to the end, the couple below me, my pen couldn't keep up. So, Dave, you're going to have to tell me who to turn it over to, or just have that person pick it up. My first ring was an ICOM 720A, and I think I had a Kenwood 520 back then too. And right now, I'm sorry guys, I qualify for the age. I'm 81, but I'm running a rice burner. It's a Kenwood 890S, and an ICOM 2008 for a linear, and I'm running about 300, 400 watts, somewhere like that. And got a horizontal fan dipole for 160 and one for 80. And wait a minute, no, I'm on the other antenna, excuse me. I'm on an inverted V. I'll get it straight. An 80, 40, let's see, 80, 40, and 20 fan dipole, inverted V, and it tops at about 60 feet. And I use it quite a bit. Thank you very much. And Dave, if you'll tell me who to turn it over to, or turn it over to the next person on the list. My pen didn't catch up past me. Thank you, sir. No problem. It goes to K4VWD. Go ahead, Lee.
Okay, Dave. Thank you. This is K4 Victor Whiskey Delta. The name's Lee, Lima Echo Alpha. And I am in Greenville, South Carolina. And Joe, you're pegging my S-meter. Your rig is working just fine. I got you beat on the age. I'm 88. My rig, I'm running about 38 watts. A multi-Elmac AF-68 and a PMR8 receiver, dipole filled with ladder line, going through an old Ten-Tech receiver. So, Joe, it's good to have you, man. And like I say, your rig is pegging my S-meter here. So, I'm going to say 7-3, God bless. I'm going to listen for a little bit, but I won't be back. I've got some things I have to do tonight. And Dave, thank you for calling the net. And Joe, it's sure good to have you be a part of the group. So Bruce, here she comes. N4WD in the group. This is K4VWD 73. God bless everybody.
All right, K4VWD, November 4, Whiskey Delta. Joe, the name here is Bruce, Bravo Romeo Uniform, Charlie Echo. We're located in Fort Oglethorpe, just across the Tennessee line in Georgia, just south of Chattanooga, Tennessee. Used to be an old induction center, POW camp, WAC training center. I don't know what all they had here. In my backyard is the Chickamauga battlefield, so that kind of give you where we're at. Yeah, we're old too, 75. And we're not running the antique tonight. We're running the 7300 into a AL8811 into a off-center fed 80 meter dipole up at about 40 feet. Weather is 80 degrees, partly cloudy, little puff clouds, not much. And no rain now for 4 weeks, so my grass is dead and I hadn't cut it in the last 2 weeks. So if it don't rain, it won't grow. I won't have to buy no more gas. All right, W4JPL in 4WD.
Okay, let me adjust my frequency a little bit here. There we go. Well, I went too far, didn't I? Okay, well, good evening, everybody. This is John, W4JPL. I am in Liberty, North Carolina. I'm hearing everybody just fine tonight. Pretty quiet conditions out there. 74 degrees here. And it was a beautiful day outside. I'm running my Johnson Valiant and my Howell Scratchers SX101A. And I'm feeding that into a multi-band dipole for 160 and 75. So I'm going to make this a one and done transmission. I will be listening for a while. I'm in the middle of a couple projects here. I want to get on with it. So just because I'm retired doesn't mean I stop. Seems like I got more to do now than I ever did in my life. 73, God bless everybody, and I'll be listening for a while. WA4LL on the group, W4JPL. JPL, geez. I'm somebody. Goodbye.
Okay. Very good, all the way around. Let me take a quick standby. Do we have anybody else who would like to come in? Come now. Okay, nothing heard. So let's see. Nice group, 17 check-in this evening. And I apologize, I'm running a TS2000 at 25 watts into a horizontal dipole at about 50 feet. And thank you for the signal reports, Mayor. And everybody's doing great. 4 AF-68s on tonight. That's awesome. That's awesome. 2 Viking 500s, Globe King 500s, 2 DX60s. Nice, and ART-13, a nice showing. Very good. Well, let's see. Got a chance to make a neat observation last night about 8:30. Got to see Elon's last Starlink satellite chain crossover, and they were still almost touching because they'd just been launched, hadn't spread out yet. That was a neat sight, watching that train. Looked like a silver streak in the sky going over. As far as space weather, we've been having some M-class flares, nothing that's really tremendously effective right now. The sunspot number is 106. Solar flux index is 159, and the last K index I saw reported was 1.33. So things are pretty quiet, which is a good thing. A few items of interest on this day in history. On this day in 1890, Yosemite National Park was established. On this day in 1903, the first World Series game was Pittsburgh versus Boston. Pittsburgh won. On this day in 2017, gunmen in Las Vegas opened fire on a concert crowd, killing 58 people. On this day in 1946, Nazi war criminals were sentenced at Nuremberg. On this day in 1924, Jimmy Carter was born. On this day in 1920, Scientific American reported that radio will soon be used to transmit music to the home. Oh, man. On this day in 1962, Johnny Carson made his debut hosting The Tonight Show. On this day in 1988, Mikhail Gorbachev became the head of the Soviet Union. On this day in 1908, the Ford Motor Company unveiled the Model T. So there is a few things going on this day in history. So let's go back around, and this time, Joe, you'll turn it to N4WD. Since Lee and John have signed out, and Bruce, you'll give it back to me. WB4ARK and the group, WA4LLR.
WA4LLR, WB4ARK. Okay, Dave, and glad your surgery is doing well, it sounds like, and I hope you will continue to improve, and thanks very much for doing the net. Lee, we still have some hummingbirds here. There's several, probably 3 or 4 that are still buzzing around. They look like they're all females, and the interesting thing about this ART-13 is that when I pull the bottom cover off, that's the louvered cover that's used to anchor the unit to the aircraft whenever you put it in. There was an inscription on the bottom, and some of you might know this individual, Bob Lackey, W4QBE, from Rabun County, Georgia, 2009. And he wrote in there, "I wonder if anyone will ever see this," which I thought was a fairly interesting inscription in magic marker. So I put my name in there and call and the date that I serviced it, but I didn't put anything else. So that's the deal on the ART-13. This particular one, I have one that I use personally, and so I didn't mention where I was located. I'm in Lake Wiley, South Carolina, which is just south of Charlotte. My wife and I grew up in Charlotte, and we moved here in 2007. We built the house and moved to this location. So that's about it for me. I will say 73 and listen to the end, I hope, if Linda doesn't have the supper ready before then. And we will turn it over to WB4FJQ. This is WB4ARK.
WB4ARK, this is WA4FJQ. Okay, buddy, your signal here in High Point is very strong. Everybody else is sort of up and down, but mostly S9 or so. Cliff, over in Tennessee with that Globe King, it's like you're sitting right here in the shack. It's amazingly strong. So that's really putting out a heck of a good signal. I don't have anything else to add or subtract. As I said in the earlier transmission, I've got a loud buzz on the receiver that's obviously coming from something here in the shack that I can't find at the moment. So I'm also going to say 73s. The wife usually gets dinner on the table a little earlier than this, and I don't want to eat a cold supper. So at any rate, I'll say 73s, and Dave, good luck to you on the hip repair and all that sort of thing. Thanks for calling the net. And I'll turn it over to, let's see, Steve, N4LQ. This is WA4FJQ.
WA4FJQ, N4LQ. Thank you, Tom. 73 to you and the buddy, and to John and Lee. Hope you have a great time, and I guess Thursday will be our next session. It's Thursday morning. Tuesday morning. This is Sunday. Boy, I'm getting the weeks just fly by. Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock. Same frequency here. And well, the number of boat anchors is 13 versus rice boxes 4. That's about 70%. It's pretty good. And everybody sounds good. Brian, you don't sound anything like you did earlier today. I tried every tool I had here to try to decipher what was coming out of that, but it was pretty bad. So hopefully you're trying something else on the next round, and you'll sound like $1 million. Maybe you were just overdriving the little amplifier or something. I don't know. Anyway, and staying okay on stopping at Fair Radio. Last time I was there was about 2005, and I had my dad with me, who is no longer with us, and my son. We were on our way up to the Detroit Auto Show, and we stopped there at the Fair Radio and had a great time, and Dad was bored out of his skull because he has no interest in radio at all, but he did get hungry. So let's see, it's dry here too. It is it's been up in the 76 degree area, something like that today. Haven't had any rain for over a week, and I sprayed some water on some grass that I had planted a week ago, hoping that I could kickstart it into growing, but I kind of doubt it. Anyway, over to Mark, KG4IUQ, N4LQ.
This is Mark, KG4IUQ. I have been looking into some things to try to figure out what to do about this feedback sound that I get in the speaker when I start up transmission, and I've solved it. I put a relay that switches the speaker on and off. That's controlled with a foot switch, and then I reach over to the microphone and press the mic button. That satisfies me. I looked into an idea about the B plus being turned off by the power supply, and just me. I didn't think it was a good idea, and I think Steve, he was trying to tell me that it's not really, he didn't think it's a good idea to try to fix that. So I didn't try. And the DDS VFO, I've been working on a way to connect the VFO, digital VFO, up to the transmitter here to control the frequency. And I've been through a lot of things, and as it stands now, I think the voltage varies depending on the frequency that's coming out of it. It seems like my oscilloscope reads that voltages peak to peak are about 3 to 6 volts. And I'm going to try to, you know, Greg Lotta has some circuits, has a transformer circuit for increasing the voltage, and he also has a ferrite transformer. Actually, the transistor thing is an amplifier, and then his ferrite transformer. In one situation that he's given the information for, it's supposed to work. I don't really know what's going to happen when I try these things, so I'm going to give that a try. Everybody is sounding good here. Dave, I heard that you saw Elon's satellite chain passing over and that you're using 25 watts. That's really amazing. And Buddy, you're excellent from Lake Wiley. Tom, I think you signed out, but you're sounding good. And Mayor, it's good to hear you. You're sounding good. Brian, I was hearing a distorted sound here. I don't really know why, but I've heard some people give comments on it. Stan, you've been up in Michigan. I like driving to Michigan. I like the cooler air up there. Glenn, your Johnson Viking 500 sounds great. Really good. Very smooth. And Cliff, you have a great sound from Tennessee. John, I wonder if your Johnson Viking 500, how much power does it put out, and is it possible to hear your own, people call it a note or tone? Can you figure out a way to, if you're doing CW on that thing, can you hear your own tone? And Doak, you're sounding good, very good. And Al, you sound good. Everybody does. Joe, 81 years old. KF4XC, you're sounding good. Lee, with your 38 watts, you sound great. Bruce, you're sounding good. John, W4JPL, you're sounding very good. I'm going to turn it over now to Mayor, WF2U. This is KG4IUQ.
Yeah, very good. KG4IUQ, and then this is WF2U. Yeah, very good, Mark. Still good signal. And let's see, Dave, you're doing a great job with that barefoot rise box. You're still holding a 10/9, no problem at all. And let's see, now I have reports for all the stations that came after me. So Brian, I'm not going to give you an R5 because you were very distorted, but your carrier is 15/9. I could understand what you said, but it really didn't sound. It sounded a little bit kind of distorted. Stan, you 15/S9. Cliff was 10/S9. Glenn 10/S9. And John K1VVC 20/9. Nice and strong signal. Doak 15/S9. And Al 5/9. Pretty good for the DX60 barefoot. Joe KF4XC 5/9 plus 10 to 15. There is a little QSB up and down on almost everybody. Lee was 15/9. Bruce 20/9. Nice strong signal. And John W4JPL 5/9 to 5/9 with that QSB. So that's the story here. Wow, what a big net here tonight. And anyway, with that, it goes to Brian. See if you could fix that distortion or something. KN4R, this is WF2U.
Very good, Beer. WF2U and the old friend. This is Brian, KN4R, and I'm on a different rig now. I'm on a GRC9, and it's running 8 watts of audio, and it looks like I have plenty of audio here. So I would appreciate each signal report. And my apologies on the previous rig. I was on the Globe Champ until about 1 minute before the net started, and all of a sudden I lost my grid drive, and it wouldn't come back, so I had to hurriedly fire up the GRC 165, and I obviously didn't have it tuned up right, so my apologies. So anyway, I'd like to hear about this GRC9. And so go ahead, Stan, W4KR in the group, KN4R.
Oh, okay, Brian, KN4R, W4KR, W4KR. Yep, doing a lot better with it now, Brian. Sounds good. You know, Brian, when you were on, there's another guy, and he does the same thing every week. He comes on here and he calls CQ right on this frequency. I think he's up in the Pittsburgh area, but he's pretty consistent. Never talks to anybody, just sits there and calls CQ. But anyway, enough of that monkey business. Dave, you're hanging in there quite well. You peaked. You were not peaked. You were a solid 10/9 this last time. So well done, well done. And glad to good luck. Good luck getting the staples removed. Amen. Let's see here. What else? I'm going to keep it relatively short because we're getting a little bit late here. I've got to get skedaddling upstairs here in a little bit. Something I forgot. Two things I forgot to mention earlier. I'm looking for, and this is for this old HRO. I'm looking for I need a couple of tubes for it. A 6 Bravo 7, a 6 B7, and a 6 Delta 6, a 6 D6. Need one of each of them. Anybody got one want to get rid of? You're coming to the lunch Thursday, bring it all along. Anyway, the other item is, and this is what John and I were talking about just a little bit before the net, I need a B and a C coil, the two plug-in coils, B and a C, for an HRO 60. The ones, as John mentioned, and I agree, you can't use an HRO 50 coil in those because those are because the 60 went to dual conversion. With that, I'm going to turn it on and over to Glenn. And oh yeah, I was looking down through my notes. There's one other comment I wanted to make. Joe over up in Franklin, TS 890 sounds good. Wonder what you think of it. Trust you've had it a while now. Glenn, here it comes. N4AK, the old friends group. This is W4K.
Okay, Stan and the group. I've got a little feedback from the rig behind me there. So anyway, enjoyed it tonight. Welcome, Joe. I'm going to pass along my 7.3 since it's been a little bit long here. So, Cliff, WB4NKL, N4AK.
N4AK is WB4NKL. Okay, 100% copy all around. Good conditions tonight. And Tom, thanks for the report on the Globe King. You're sounding good over here. Well, everybody's got a good signal here into Tennessee tonight. And Brian, you're much better. The 8 watts, I believe you said you're running, sounds great, and modulation was good and clear that time. And Stan, I might have a 6D6. I'm not sure about 6B7, but sort of planning on coming to the lunch on Thursday if nothing changes. So say 73s and enjoyed it. Thanks for calling it, Dave, and hope recovery continues on. Go ahead, John. K1 VVC is WB4NKL.
Yeah, very good. WB4NKL, K1 VVC. And by the way, Cliff, you have the strongest signal here today. Just an outstanding signal coming in. So must have a direct pipeline down the mountain. Stan, I probably have those tubes. I'm going to bring you the 4-400s that you asked about. And Lee is usually the one that does it, but I want to remind everybody about the luncheon on Thursday, not to forget. And for a newcomer like Joe, we have a once-a-month lunch get-together at the Golden Corral in Spartanburg on the first Thursday of the month, which will be the 5th, at about 11:30. We have a separate room there. Unfortunately, I think where you are in Franklin, it's kind of a long ride to get down there, but maybe you can make it one time and meet everybody. So this is the day. Brian, that GRC 9 sounds great. I can't believe it's not that strong, but the audio, everything sounds just terrific on it. So, man, what a difference. It really sounds great. So, doing a fine job with that. So with that, over to Doak. I hope he's still there. WN4PFI, K1VVC.
K1VVC, WN4PFI. Thank you, John. Just a quick word to Glenn. I don't know if you're still listening. Glenn and Buddy was able to go down to Glenn's lake house on Tuesday. My wife and I went down and picked up the a little globe chief, and I've got it apart, trying to go through it and check out everything that's in it. Of course, there's not a lot to it, but I want to get started on a little modulator, plate modulator that I wanted to build that that matches up with that globe chief. It's in my skill set to be able to do something like that. I'm not as gifted as most of you guys. So I'm looking forward to getting started on that. Something I failed to say a couple of weeks ago when I told you about having a heart ablation. They used RF. Maybe all of you knew that. I didn't know that was what it was. They used 35 watts of RF inside my heart to fix the problem I had with AFib. And I've got a couple of transmitters here that don't run 35 watts. So that was kind of a shock to me that that's what they use, radio frequency to take care of an AFib issue. Thanks, Dave, for running the net. I'll say my 73's here, and I'll listen to the end and then back around to you, I guess. I enjoyed listening. Everybody had good signals. I was able to copy everybody today here in Suches. So hope you have a good week and be able to be back here on next Sunday afternoon. 73's, guys. It's been a pleasure. And it's over to you. Where's it going? Al, KJ4YEV. Go ahead and take it, Al. 73.
WN4PFI and the net, KJ4YEV. Somebody mentioned Fair Radio. I'm sorry to hear they're going out of business. They've been a good resource. There'll never be another surplus store like them. They're where I found manuals and alignment info on this RBM5 receiver that I use, and I don't believe I could have gotten it going without them. Probably wouldn't have found that anywhere else. So I am really sorry to hear they're going in, but I guess all things come to an end sooner or later. And Joe, I forgot to mention to you where I'm at. I'm in Gastonia, about 20 miles west of Charlotte. So you got a good signal down here from Franklin. So we got 17 check-ins on the net today is what I counted. I'm glad to hear all that. I'm hearing everybody really well, so I'm going to pass it on to Joe, KF4XC from KJ4YEV. Go ahead, Joe.
Joe, are you still with us?
Yes, I am. I wasn't sure that he turned it over to me. Let's see, it was KJ4YOD, KF4XC. the signal just popped up on 3717 that kind of wiped him out there for a second. I'd like to say thanks for letting me participate tonight, and to Dave, W4LMR, for running the net. How I happened to get acquainted with you guys, first of all, I worked with the guys on evenings on 3717 on sideband with W4OSS running the net, and then when you guys came out on Sunday, we moved that one up to 2000 hours at 3717, and so I started listening to you, and then I realized that Glenn, W4AK, who was on our 3717 net, was also on the Old Friends net, so seemed like a really nice group of guys, and I really have enjoyed it, and I think I've copied most of everybody's information, and if not, I'll pick it up maybe in the future. So let me pass it, I'll say 73s, and pass it over to, I believe it's K4 Victor Whiskey Delta, Lee in Greenville. Over to you, sir, from KF4XC. Good night, thank you.
Let's see, Lee is 9, it goes down the bridge.
Okay, everybody's leaving now. November 4 Whiskey Delta. David, forgot to say the last round. Glad you're recovering, and hope you continue to do so, and before you know it, you'll be out there riding the tractor, cutting the grass. Hi. I know you really want to do this, so you take care of yourself and continue to heal. Everybody's sounding good. We'll say 73's also the wife's in there cooking, and I don't want to miss that, so we'll say 73's all. Y'all have a good rest of the day and a good start of the week. God bless and take care of each and every one. It goes back to you, Dave. November 4 Whiskey.
All right, 7-3 Joe and 7-3 Bruce. So, we've got several folks that have signed out. And my wife says she's got supper ready. So, fellas, I'm going to go ahead and sign out here. If you guys want to hang around and shoot the breeze, that's just fine. So, I'm going to go ahead and close out this session of it. And Lord willing, we will catch up with you on Tuesday morning. Thanks for all the folks checking in. Good number tonight, good signals, and good band conditions. So 7-3, God bless, and everybody have a great evening. This is WA4LLR Dave in Burnsville, North Carolina, closing this session of the Old Friends Net. 7-3.
Here, WF2U, are you still there? KN4R.
Yeah, I'm still here, and you sound much better, Brian.
I'm on a different rig. I'm on the GRC9 and running 8 watts here. So, and the little modulation meter is happily going away. So it seems to work pretty good. Funny thing is, it had a bad 2E22 tube. I did not have another 2E22. So I looked around. Actually, I have the Chinese clones of the GRC9, and I have spares for them, tubes too. And I had 2 of the 2E26 tubes, and I checked it out on TV7, looked great, and I have it in this rig. So it's, I guess you'd call it a hybrid rig now, Mir, over.
Yeah, yeah, it's a hybrid rig, all right. Yeah, you sound good. A good GRC9 with everything working okay sounds good. They usually have pretty good modulation, and you're holding at 5 and 9 with a little QSB up and down, but nothing consequential. You sound really good.
Thank you. Thanks, Lear. I appreciate it. I'm just making little videos here, sending them to a few people, but if you don't mind, I want to use that little snippet in a upcoming presentation. So, anyway, I appreciate it. The GRC9's been fun. I have another GRC9 that's not as nice as this one. I did get the transmitter going on here, but the receiver had 4 bad tubes, I tested all of them and checked them out and replaced the tubes, but the receiver is not making a little noise, but not yet up to snuff. But I hope to get that one going as a spare as well. So anyway, and I'm lucky to have the AC power supply for this state, even though it's pretty heavy. So anyway, thanks a lot, Beer. I appreciate it. You sound really, really good. I think the band was really in great shape today. So take care, have a good week, and hope to hear you Tuesday. WF2U, KN4R.
Yeah, very good, Brian. KN4R, WF2U. Yeah, regarding the receiver, play with replacing the mixer tube. That's very important, and sometimes even a brand new mixer tube might not hack it too well. It's a little bit of a marginal design on that one, and if the tube gets a little bit low in emission, then it usually won't work too well from like 3 megahertz and up. So just play and try to do a little bit of I doubt it whether it needs an alignment. So, but one never knows. So good luck with it, and I'm glad to hear one. Well, maybe it's time to hook up mine. Luckily, I have the original AC supply for it that they used in semi-permanent installations, and they're heavy, they are like 4 or 5 times as big as the GRC9 itself, and it's a heavy sucker, but they work well. And I also have the 80-watt amplifier that for it that was issued in Germany, made in Germany for NATO use, but model that the Germans used, and I think the Netherlands also, but it's made in Germany. I used to use that a lot, checking into the MRCG net Saturday mornings on AM, and it worked out pretty well. Yeah, time to that setup is in a corner here because I have no room on any of the desktops here, so maybe I should kind of hold it out, hook it up, and put it somewhere where I can operate it. But we'll see. Anyway, I'm going in. I have to get the dogs in a little while, and I'm not going to come out again to run on 160, which is going lousy since I can't use my amplifier right now on 160. The antenna tuner is something happened to it, and it's not working. So something might have happened to the antenna also, because it has a high SWR by itself, and I can load it up with one of the smaller antenna tuners I have, but it won't take more than 300 watts, so I use it with the SG2000, and I went on 160 several times, but it was not that great. My signal was not too good, so I think the antenna needs some work. I have to take it down. I don't know what happened to it. 73, have a good night, and talk to you soon. KN4R, this is WF2U.
Very good. Very good. WF2U, KN4R. Okay, Beer, well, you're just booming in over here. Strongest I think I've ever heard you. So we've got great conditions, and I need to get up on 160 again soon. I haven't put my 160 antenna back up, but I'm going to. I just, seems like every day I have something else I need to do that supersedes that, but I'm going to try this week to get it back up there. So 73, thanks a lot for testing with me, and look forward to a GRC9 Tuesday one of these days. 73, WF2U, KN4R.
Yeah, good night, Brian. It's good timing because there is some AM QRM underneath us. But you still S9, no problems, except there is just a little whistle in there. Take care. WF to you, clear.
You're 73, man. Thanks a lot. KN4R.